Hello everyone, this is your unemployed chef. For today's video, we'll be making some chicken parmesan. Because this is a Friday night meal, I'm going to go all out tonight. So I'm making my chicken parmesan, some broccoli, and I'm going to have a nice dessert afterwards. So let's get started. So right now, what I'm using for my chicken parmesan is traditionally you use a chicken cutlet or a very thinly sliced chicken breast. Because chicken breast has a habit of being dry and very chunky if it's not thinly sliced, I chose to use some chicken thighs. The difference between a chicken thigh and a chicken breast is that chicken thighs I consider it to be the dark meat of the chicken. The dark meat tends to be a lot juicier. It has more fat, and it tends to have more flavor to it, so that's why I'm using it. White meat tends to be leaner, not as flavorful as dark meat. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chicken thighs, and I'm also going to be using some black pepper to taste, parsley to taste, my best friend garlic to taste, some butter. This is for my broccoli. And I would say maybe a third of a box of pasta. I can never measure how much pasta I'm actually using. I think I'm just going to eye it. But I would say if I would have to give you a concrete measurement, maybe a half a box of pasta. Right here I have some quattro formaggi, which is a 4-cheese blend. You don't have to use this, but I like this because I would be able to just use up this cheese because it's been sitting in my fridge for a while and I don't like to waste food. But it also has 4 different cheeses: Parmesan, Asiago, Fontina, and Provolone, which will provide a pretty good taste. I have an egg wash, so my chicken could be breaded properly and so that it can stick to the chicken skin. I'm using this marinara sauce. It doesn't really matter what type of marinara sauce, but just reading the container of this, I don't have no doubt that this will be a authentic Italian style marinara sauce. Some olive oil so I can pan fry my chicken. And you would need about 10 tablespoons of this. Some panko breadcrumbs. Again, I love panko breadcrumbs because it has a very nice texture that you typically can't get with just regular breadcrumbs or just flour. And that is it. So to start off, what I'm going to do is you're going to bring a large pot of water to a rolling boil. I'm going to turn down the heat on this one. And just for me, I'm just going to eye my measurement. I know this isn't a real measurement, but this is about a fistful of pasta. And I'm just going to put that in my boiling water. You could also break your pasta, but I think this way it gives you more pasta in your dish. And it just looks more professional. I just feel fancy. And you're just going to let it slowly wilter in the boiling water. Since I'm going to eye my pasta, I'm just going to boil it until it becomes al dente. And that takes about 7 or 8 minutes. And if you don't cook pasta often, just follow the directions on the box. When in doubt, follow the box's directions. And as for my broccoli, I didn't forget my broccoli. Steaming with a beautiful green color. And since I have about 2 pounds of broccoli, I'm going to put 4 tablespoons of butter. And I really lucked up on this butter because it's exactly 4 tablespoons. I wish I was this lucky at baking, but whatever. Just drop that in. And I'm just going to let my butter melt in the pan. Is as desired. I'm going to do my fork check. And it's not too bad. Maybe just a couple more minutes. And I'm going to put the lid back on. And for my broccoli, I'm just going to put some salt to taste and some pepper. Broccoli tends to create a lot of water when it cooks. If you notice that there's a lot of water in the pan, you can drain out some of the water. And now it's time to check my pasta. Okay, I'm checking my pasta again. We're just below the 2-minute mark. Right? And it's not stiff, and it's not gooey, and it's perfect. So now I'm going to take my pasta off the heat and let it drain. Just a quick tip for my pasta lovers. If you don't want your pasta to stick, just put just a small amount of olive oil. Not enough where it makes it oily. Just a light coating. So I have my pasta and my broccoli done. And now it's time for my chicken Parmesan. That's why I am making this video. So, again, I have about 10 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm going to heat my oil up to a low. So right now, I have it on 2. I don't want it to get too hot and start burning when my chicken isn't ready. So I'm just going to heat it up a little bit. And when it's time for me to start my chicken, then I'll turn it up to a medium low, which would be about 4. Now let's get started on my chicken thighs. So first, I'm going to give it an egg wash. It doesn't have to be doused in the egg, just enough for it to be coated evenly. And you're going to do this for every thigh. Some garlic to taste. And then I'm going to give it a light coating in Panko, like so. It doesn't have to be perfect. And if you need more, just put more. Shake off the excess. And that is thigh number 1. Thigh number 2. So now I'm going to turn up my oil. And since I'm just about done with my chicken thighs, so I'm going to turn it up to a medium low. I don't know too many people that eat chicken thighs. I know, I guess due to the health craze, a chicken thigh isn't seen as healthy as a chicken breast. I just think that's stupid, to be honest. I know I'm supposed to be the one that works out, whatever. Not every type of fat is bad, especially if The point is, you're not eating the fat itself on the meat. You're just making sure that the cut is juicy. I do, however, trim most of my fat off my meats because I just don't like the texture. But I just make sure that I leave enough on so it's not dry. You can be healthy at the same time as well as enjoying your food. And as you can hear, my oil is hot. And I just have one more thigh to go. And now it's time to start putting my thighs in. And I'm going to cook my chicken until it's a golden brown color. Then I'm going to turn my oil up to a 6. I actually turned up my oil's heat to 7, which would be a medium high. And my thighs look pretty good. Obviously they need to cook more. So I would say let your thighs cook for about 6 minutes per side. This is a thin cut of chicken, so you don't have to worry about it being undercooked. But as always, you can check to see if it's cooked all the way just by cutting through the meat. But what you want to see is a golden brown color like this. I'm using Panko breadcrumbs, and I'm not deep frying. I think they deep fry it. I'm not getting that super deep color, but I'm getting that super deep taste. 6 minutes on the clock. Go. At the end, when everything is done cooking, I'm going to put all my cutlets into the pan and pour my marinara sauce over my cutlets. And then I'm going to put the cheese on top and let it melt in the pan. And because I don't want my cutlets to be super greasy, when they're done, I'm just going to let them drain on some paper towel. And you know what? I'm going to put this other one in. 6 minutes on the clock. Go. I don't know. I don't know if it's my cataracts or I don't know, but it looks like my chicken cutlets breading got darker when it came out of the oil. Huh. Science is amazing. Okay, so I flipped my thighs to the other side. So instead of 6 minutes, I would say 5 minutes is a good measurement of how long you should fry them. This one has to go on more because it didn't fry evenly. This is the torn up textbook chicken. These are the magazine chickens. So I figured out what was not making my breading this dark color. It's just that I wasn't letting it fry long enough. I know, it's a rookie mistake. My chicken is done, and I turned my heat down to 3. And now I'm going to melt my cheese with the warmed up sauce. Don't worry, my burner is still hot. It's not going to be on this temperature. And I want to completely cover my chicken in my sauce. It's time to sprinkle on my cheese. Quick pro tip, because certain cheeses don't melt as easily as others. For example, American cheese melts a lot easier than provolone cheese. And because this is a cheese blend, I actually left my cheese out at room temperature for about 20 minutes. You could also warm up your cheese, but since I'm already warming up here, it just seems easier to do. And you put as much cheese as you like. Cheese took about 5 minutes to melt on my cutlets, and they look so delicious. I already have my plate set up, and I spooned some of the sauce from the pan onto my pasta so it's not dry, and I will be adding more. Look at that. The cheese is trying to get away. And then I'm going to top it off with some parsley. Delicious chicken parmesan with some broccoli. I hope you liked today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and complain. As always, the recipe will be in the description box below. Again, this is your unemployed chef. And always chase that young.
Hey.